This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good Erev Shabbos, gentlemen. Start your engines. We have really something astounding on the Parsha. You can learn the Parsha many times, and then all of a sudden you find you strike gold. We're going to now ask on the episode of Eliezer meeting Lavan and Besuel. We're going to ask 8 questions. 8 questions, and we're going to give one answer. And this is an astounding yesod, really amazing material. We know that Rashi says, "Yafes sichasan shel avdei avos yosem mitarasan shel banim," that the conversation of the servants of the avos is even greater than the Torah of their children, because we know this episode, which takes 67 psukim, is repeated. But as we're soon going to see, there are slight discrepancies between the first version and the second version, which Rashi addresses. But we would like to see if we could find one approach to explain some of these issues. Okay, we begin with the following. Avram says to his servant, the elder statesman of his household, who rules over everything that is his, Simna yadcha tachas yirechi. Just the simple reading of the pasuk seems to indicate Eliezer is a pretty good guy. He's a kan beisai. He's Moshe b'chol hashalayin. In fact, the Medrash says, "Vayemer Avram el avdo is a kan beisai, shahayaziv ikonin shaloi doimalai." That Eliezer's appearance was similar to Avraham. Now, I've seen tzaddikim. You could see the Shechina on their face. You could just imagine what Avraham looked like. To say Eliezer looked like Avraham, that's a pretty big endorsement. And then it says, "B'hamoishel b'chol hashaloi shahaya shalit b'yitzroi kamotzai." That as great as Avraham was, that he ruled over all 248 limbs, Eliezer had it down also. But it seems that Eliezer had a split personality then, because in pasuk Hey, Chavdalet Hey, number 3, Vayemer lava eved. Maybe this woman won't want to follow me. What does the Medrash say? Kenan, this Eliezer, he's a Kenani. Biyadai moizne mirma la'ashoik oyhev. He has faulty, deceitful scales. He loves to oppress. Kenan is Eliezer. What were his deceitful scales? He had a daughter, and he thought to himself, maybe my daughter is appropriate for Yitzchak. Who did he want to oppress? He wanted to oppress Yitzchak. What does Avraham say? Get lost, you bum! Ani baruch ata oror ve'ein baruch mizdabek ba'oror. Pasnit to marry my son to your daughter. You're from Canaan. You're not bad. You're not very bad. You're oror. You are the epitome of curse. You don't have bad yichus. You are bad yichus. So what is this? First of all, Eliezer looks like the biggest tzaddik who ever lived. He rules over his Yetzer, but Avraham says you're a bum. I mean, what was he? Was he the greatest person who ever lived, or was he oror? I mean, doesn't that bother you? Who is this Eliezer guy?
Does it go in to inspire loyalty when you talk to your servant?
Right? Number 2, question number 2. Pasuk Chavdalet Gimel. Vashbiacha b'Hashem Elokei Hashamayim Elokei Haaretz. I make you take an oath by the God of heaven and earth. You're not taking a girl from the B'nais Canaan. What does Avraham call God? Kei Hashamayim Elokei Haaretz. Let's look 4 psukim later. Pasuk Chavdalet, Parak Chavdalet, Pasuk Zayin. Hashem Elokei Hashamayim Asher Lekachani Mi Beis Avi Me'eretz Me'ladti B'Asher Diber Li V'Asher. Wait a second. Why is Abraham demoting Hashem? In Pasuk Gimel, he's Hashem Elokei Hashamayim Elokei Haaretz, and in Pasuk Zayin, he's only Elokei Hashamayim. Now, in any event, that's question number 2. Now, question number 3. Avraham promised to Eliezer, Hu yishlach malachai lefanecha. God will send His angel. That's such a nice promise, Avraham. Why does the word malach not appear in the entire Parsha? If Avram is promised Hashem's going to send the angel, then why is no angel mentioned? Why don't we see that that there was an angel in the house of Lavan and Besuel? And we once gave a shiur on this question alone. It's called, what is it called? It's called the case of the missing malach. Okay? But that's the name of the shiur. We had a whole shiur on that from the Brisker Rav. But we're going to answer differently today. That's the question. Well, if Abraham is promising, by the way, Rabbi Meshulam David Soloveitchik today, he wants to answer, yeah, there is a malach. When Lavan and Besuel tried to interfere, Besuel tried to poison, but malach, and he knocked off Besuel. That's the malach that Abraham was promising about. But it's not in the Chumash, though. Abraham says, "Hu yishlach malach lefanecha." Where's the malach? That's question number 3.
7.
I know, but
What does it say? What?
The shiur, case of the missing knowledge.
the Shelah.
Yeah, right. That's question number 3. Question number 4. Why is Eliezer sometimes referred to as Eved and sometimes referred to as Ish? Look at number 8. Parak Chav Daled Pasuk Yud. Vayaratz ha'eved likrasa. The Eved runs to her. Pasuk Chav Aleph. V'ha'ish mishta'ela. The man was wondering.
That must be the malach.
Say a copy.
Everett refers to Eliezer as the real Eved, the human.
Well, why sometimes is he called an
You
Eved?
once have a shiur with a malach or...
No, it's a pasuk in Chumash. Sometimes Gabriel is called Ish. V'ha'ish Gabriel. Why in pasuk Yud Zayin is he Eved and pasuk Chav Aleph is Ish? And I'll ask even better. In Parak Chav Daled, pasuk Samach Aleph, Vatakam Rivka v'naroiseh, Vaterkavna ala Gemalim, Vatelachna acharei ha'ish, Vayikach ha'eved. So in the same pasuk, first he's an Ish, then he's an Eved. It's very confusing. And I'll ask you now, that's question number 4, yeah? Why sometimes is he called Eved, why not Ish, and why sometimes the same pasuk is he go back and forth? And then look at number 8 and 9. I have to ask you a question. This Eliezer guy, you know, some people are men of action. They act, they do, and some people are very pensive.
Lay back.
They think, well, what's going on? They evaluate. This Eliezer, look at number 8. The man runs to her. He runs to her. Why is he running to her? That means he thinks it's the right one. Look at number 9. The man is thinking. What's he thinking about now? Oh, 3 psukim ago he had his mind set. Now all of a sudden he's vertracht in his thoughts.
No, he's asking a question.
No, what's he mishtay? Mishtay is he's wondering, he's thinking.
He's wondering if
But he already decided it is because he ran to her.
that's what we're assuming.
He's starting his test now. He's running to start the test.
He was thirsty.
Running to start the test.
Yeah. Well,
What's he running for if he doesn't know if it's the right?
One time he said,
Okay. I'll ask you another question.
Ish is when it's a higher madrega, Eved is low.
Okay, let's see.
In the pasuk.
Look at number 11. Vayihi kasher kilu hagmal mishas. The camels finished drinking. Vayikach ha'ish nezem zahav. The man took a golden ring. Beka mishkalai. It weighed a beka. Ushnei tzmidim al yadeh. With 2 bracelets on her hand. Asara zahav mishkalam. So we got the exact details of the jewelry. Right? You can see the exact details. It weighed a beka. It was 2 bracelets weighing 10 asar zahav. Says, look at number 12. For some reason, when Eliezer repeats the information, he doesn't give any of the details. He doesn't say that the nezem was beka mishkalai. He doesn't say it was 2 tzmidim, and he doesn't say asar zahav mishkalam. All it says is va'asim hanezem al apa v'atzmidim al yadeha. He should tell if yafes yichas and shalav deyava. He should say, I put 2 I put Nezem, which was Beka Mishkolai. I put Shnei Tzimidim, which was Asar Zav Mishkolam. By the way, Rashi says the Beka was a remez to the Shkolim, Beka Lagolgoilas, and the Shnei Tzimidim was a remez to the two Luchais, and Asara Zav Mishkolam was a remez to the Asar Sadibris. Well, if he wants to make these Ramazim, why is he not mention it to Lavan and Besuel? And he asked her, who are you? Yeah? So that's question number 5. Why are the details given the first time, and they're not repeated the second time? He asked her, who are you? After he gives her the jewelry, first he gives her money, and then he asks her, who are you? So Rashi says, after he gave it to her, he asked her, he was batuach in the schus of Abraham, that things had gone as planned. But when he says over to Lavan and Besuel, he says it the opposite. Look back in number 13. Number 12. He tells them, I asked her, and then I gave it. So Rashi says, because he doesn't want to look like a shlamazel, that first he gave her the jewelry and then he asked. Okay, but it's without Rashi, it's a stira. The stira is, when it's happening, he gives her the jewelry and then he asks her. And when he says it over, first he asks her, and then he sends it, and then he gives her the jewelry. So Rashi says he changed the Maisa in order so he shouldn't look bad. But again, that's the question. Another question. The second time around, look at number 15. Va'omer al Adoni, I said to my master, Ulai lo seilecho isha acharai. Maybe the woman's not going to want to follow me. Says Rashi, the word ulai is spelled without a vav. Yeah? Elai ksiv. Eliezer had a daughter. And he's looking for an excuse to marry his daughter to Yitzchak. And Abraham says, not get lost, not go fly a kite, not jump in a lake. That would have been nice. Abraham says, you're Aror. Now get lost. Not, sometimes when people don't want to shidduch, they say, Abraham didn't say Yitzchak's busy right now. He couldn't pull that off because Eliezer is the shadchan, right? So, he didn't say, well, Eliezer, what's your daughter's name? Yeah, my wife has the same second name. Abraham didn't make a bubba mice. Abraham said, no, you're disgusting. We can't marry into your family. So listen carefully. Listen carefully. This appears 2 times. Ulai lo seilecho isha acharai. When it's happening, we had it before. In Pasuk, it's Hey, number 3. And in Pasuk, Lamed Tes. The first time Chazal do not darshan Eliezer had a daughter. Because there Ulai is spelled with a vav. It's only the second time where it's spelled without a vav that Chazal darshan Elai. Eliezer wanted Yitzchak to marry his daughter. Why the first time do Chazal not detect the motive? Only the second time. This is the kasha of Chaim Brisker. Reb Chaim wants to know, number 17, why the first time Chazal don't darshan? There's no extra vav. Why dafka the second time is there an extra vav? And finally, throughout the incident, right, and that's why we don't darshan anything.
The first passage.
Throughout the incident, Lavan and Besuel and Rivka is referred to as a na'ara. A na'ara, not an alma. Eliezer refers to Rivka as the alma. Why does Eliezer call her the alma? Alma. But the rest of the story, she's referred to as the nara.
She's only 3. She's too young to be a Nara. Nara's going to be 12.
9.
But she's referred to as a nara throughout the whole thing. So what we have over here...
She was 3 going on 15.
Some say she was 13. Taisus brings down the opinion, says, okay. So what we would like to suggest this afternoon, and it's not our suggestion, this comes from the Shelah Hakadosh. Again, let's review the 8 questions. Number one. You ready? You got all the questions down? You got to write it down. You have to come with a pen. By the way, before I'm going to tell you now the winning lottery numbers for Mega Millions. It's over 200 million. Okay, write it down. It's 1765. Now you're writing it down, right? Now that you write down? So this you should certainly write down. 8 questions. Yeah? So here are the 8 questions. The 8 questions are, by the way, I have to say B'Shem Amr, that's Rabbi Mansour's joke. Right? Here are the questions. Question number 1 is, who's Eliezer? Does he look like Abraham? Does he rule over the Yetzer like Abraham? Or no? Is he Ur? Who is he? Number 2.
So Parsha is not mentioned by name.
No, we don't call him Eliezer. That's another question. Rabbi Mechai talks about that. Question number 2 is Ribbon Shem Elokei Hashamayim Elokei Haaretz, or is he like in Pasuk Zayin just Elokei Hashamayim? Number 3, what happened to the Malach? The case of the missing Malach, part 2. Number 4, is he Eved or is he Ish? And we could say as another question, the same pasuk, he's Eved and Ish in pasuk Samach Aleph. What are we up to? Number 6. 5 or 6, whatever you want to call it. 5? Right, I made 2 questions out of that one.
6.
We'll call it 5, no problem. Why is the Ramazim of the Beka and the Shnei Tzimidim and the Asar Zav Davka the first time around, not the second time around? Why the first time does it say he gave it to her and then he asked, and the second time he asked and then he gave it to her? That's 7. Number 8. Why are the Eli? Why do we only detect his bad motivation the second time around? And number 9, we have 9 questions even.
Yeah, they're selfish.
Number 9, why was he Alma or Nara? Comes the Shelah Hakadosh. And by the way, this Shiur is sponsored Lilei Nishmas Avraham Mordechai ben Yosef, Rabbi Avram Shechter, in honor of his yahrzeit, which was Hey Cheshvan. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So we have here a comment of the Shelah Hakadosh. Shelah Hakadosh lived from 1558 to 1630. Shelah Hakadosh was his son. Rav Sheftel writes about him. He was Isha Lekim. He was Mara Da'ara de Yisrael. He had many hundreds and thousands of Talmidim, and his son says like this: not only was a great Talmid Chacham, great Marbitz Torah, he was also a great Machzik Torah. Never did he eat a meal in his life where he wasn't mefarnest at least 80 Talmidim at his table. He did not eat a meal unless he was feeding at least 80 Talmidim at his table. He's a very wealthy man. Very wealthy man. Shelah Hakadosh was one of the 3 people who are called Hakadosh. The Shelah Hakadosh, Chaim Hakadosh, the Arizal Hakadosh, but really, that's what it says in the Sefer, but really there are 5. The Alshach Hakadosh, and Rashi Hakadosh. Okay. I'll tell you a little story. Yeah? A story. A Maisa. It's brought down in the Ben Yehoyada, Masechta B'Metzia, Daf Chav Dalet Amud Beis. Ready for this? When the Shelah was still in Germany, we know eventually he moved to Eretz Yisrael, and he came to Eretz Yisrael, Parshas Vayetze. He came to Yerushalayim, Parshas Vayetze, and that's why he named his Siddur Shar HaShamayim. The Bach writes about the Siddur Shar HaShamayim. Anyone who davens from the Siddur of Shar HaShamayim, he ain't tfilasai chayzeres reikam. So the Shelah Hakadosh, when he was still in Germany, someone stole a plate of silver, and the Shelah suspected one of his Talmidim, and sure enough, it was one of his Talmidim. They caught the Talmud. The Talmud was so embarrassed, he was so ashamed, he converted to Christianity. Many years pass, the Talmud rises up in the ranks of Christianity. He becomes the chief tax collector in Jerusalem. Many years later, the Shelah Hakadosh moves to Yerushalayim, and the Talmud who converted recognized him, and he invited him to his palace. And he invites the Shelah to the palace. He says, I want to show you my treasure house. I want to show you my treasury.
Show you?
The Shelah doesn't recognize him. He brings him in closer, all into his inner sanctum. He says, I want to show you my most prized treasure.
Sure.
He brings what's the Shelah going to do? He's afraid. He brings him into his inner sanctum. He closes the door. He whips out a sword. He says, say Vidoy, now I'm going to kill you. He says, what did I ever do to you? He says, I don't care, don't talk. Say vidoy, and that's the end of your life. He starts pleading with him, he starts begging him, he gets down. He said, none of this. In a second I'm going to kill you. Say vidoy. The Shelah closes his eyes. He says, Shema Yisrael. He says Echad, where the Mumar bends down, gives the Shelah Hakadosh a kiss on his head. He says, Rabbi Umayri, stand up, be moichel me what I just did to you. He says, who are you? He said, I'm your Talmud. He says, the Talmud says, I know you're a tzaddik gomer. I know you are a Meiser Nefesh to come to Eretz Yisrael. And I feel bad for you. Because even though you're such a big tzaddik, but I know your neshama has a stain. And that is, you were the cause of me going off the derech and converting to Christianity. And I knew you would come to Eretz Yisrael, you would come to Bezdin Shalmaila, almost perfect. And even though I stole it, and it was my fault, and you were right, nevertheless, for a tzaddik on your madrega, to be even indirectly the cause of my hamara, your Gan Eden would not be perfect. And therefore, I wanted to scare you, because we know it's not Misa that's mechaper. It's the fear of Misa that's mechaper. Therefore, I figured I would give you the kapara ba'olam hazeh, so when you get to olam haba, you'd be naki v'tar. And the Shelah was meichel him, and he sent him away in great honor. It's brought down in the Ben Yehoyada, Mesechta B'Metzia Daf Chav Da'ar, Amud Beis. Says the Shelah Hakadosh, there is a malach in heaven. His name is Metatron. And this Metatron is the great defender and protector that Rebbeinu Shalom often uses to protect Klal Yisrael. And we know from Rashi and Parshas Mishpatim about Malach Metatron, the gematria of Metatron is Shakai. He almost has the name of God himself. This is a very important Malach. And when Avraham Avinu sent Eliezer was Oror. Eliezer was not roy to be mistabek to a baruch. But when Avraham Avinu sends forth Avdoi, Zakan Beisa, you know who that was? That's the Malach Metatron, who would then be hovering above Eliezer and guiding him and guarding him and ensuring that Eliezer down here Ba'aretz is successful. So when Avraham dispatched Eliezer, it doesn't say he dispatched Eliezer. Vayomer Avraham el Avdoi Zakan Beisai HaMoshe B'chol HaShaloi. Avraham Avinu was dispatching first the Malach Metatron to hover and protect Eliezer. So comes Eliezer. Vayomer Ilav HaEved. The Eved says, this Eved, Chazal say, is Eliezer. Eliezer's Ur. Down here, B'Shamayim, Eliezer's Ur. But, down here, Ba'aretz, Eliezer's Ur. But B'Shamayim, the one that's going with him, the one that's hovering over him, he's Zakan Beisa, he's Moshe B'chol HaShaloi. Take a look at the Shelah Hakadosh in Na'os Chaf. Look at number 21. V'chein haya ha'inyan bekan. Sheshalach Avraham lemata avdoi Zakan Beisai HaMoshe B'chol HaShaloi. And accompanying that Malach in Shamayim is the Eved Eliezer. So Avraham tells Eliezer, you should know Eliezer, Hine Anochi Hu Yishlach Malach Elufanecha. You're going Ba'aretz, you're accompanied in the parallel universe of Shamayim by the Malach Metatron. You're my Eved Ivri, but you're going to be accompanied in Shamayim. So in Pasuk Gimel, Avraham makes Eliezer swear. Look back in number 5. V'ashbiacha b'Hashem Elokei Hashamayim v'Elokei ha'aretz. There Avraham is talking to Eliezer. Eliezer, he has to make swear by the God of Aretz, because Eliezer lives downstairs. Okay? But regarding the mission of the Malach Mishamayim in Pasuk Zayin, Hashem Elokei Hashamayim Yishlach Malachai. That's the Malach Metatron. He doesn't have to deal with Hashem Ba'aretz, he's in Shamayim. Okay. So what happens? Eliezer is going down here ba'aretz, and hovering above him is Matachan and Shemayim. Says the Shelah a klal gadol. Whenever it says Eved in this week's Parsha, it's talking about Eliezer. Whenever it says Ish in this week's Parsha, it's talking about the Malach. Because Malachim are called Ish. Like it says, V'ho Ish Gavriel. Or by Yosef, it says, Vayimtza'u Ish. Ish is a Malach.
How could you wish Mishtoah? Malach not Mishtoah.
Ah, listen to this. Like it says the Shelah. V'chol makom that it says Eved is the Eved Shalmata. V'chol makom that it says Ish is the Eved Shalmala. Malachim are called Ish. Like it says, Vayimtza'eu Ish, Ha-Ish Gavriel. The Eved Eliezer runs, but the Ish is Mishtaya. What does Mishtaya mean? He's Oymeru Mizbainin. The Eved is Vayaratz. But the Ish, you know what Mishtah means? He's standing there, he's waiting, he's getting the Shefa min Hashemayim. God is showering him with this supernatural Shefa. Now listen to what he says. Ladas ha'etzliach Hashem darko yimloi. You know what the Malach is thinking to himself? Is this a good shidduch? Is not a good shidduch? Why not? Ha'etzliach Imloi. He sees little Yankala coming out. That's yeah. But he sees Esav coming out. That's Loi. So he doesn't know. Eliezer doesn't see anything. So he just runs to her. But the Malach is sitting there. He sees what's going to happen. He sees... fine. Go to the next paragraph. The first time the episode appears is from the point of view of the angel in Shemayim. The second time the story appears is the way it formulated down here ba'aretz. Eliezer doesn't know anything about the Beka Mishkoloi, the Machzas HaShekel. He's not giving her rings the same weight as the Machzas HaShekel. He's not giving her 2 rings, Keneged the Luchais. He's not giving her Asara Gzav Mishkoloi. But the Malach Metachroin and Shamayim, the way he sees it, he sees Beka Mishkoloi, Shnei Tzemidim, Asara Gzav Mishkoloi. That's why the first time the story appears, you have all the kavanos, you have all the ramazim. That's from the point of view of the Ish. The second time the story appears, that's Eliezer saying it with his mouth to Lavan and Besuel. Down here ba'aretz, he doesn't say anything about these kavanos, he doesn't know about the kavanos. Okay? Says the Shelah Hakadosh. Alzeh Omar, he says, the Malach knew this was it. From the point of view of the Malach, we don't need to ask who she is. The Malach knows exactly who she is. On his point of view, he's ready to give it immediately. That's why the Torah reports it. The Torah reports it, that it was given, and then he asked. Why? Because the Malach doesn't need to know who she is. So therefore, from his point of view, he gives it, and then he asks. But from Eliezer's point of view, you want to know how it happened? Of course he asked her who she was, and then he gave it. So from the point of view of the Malach, first he gives it, then he asks. From the point of view of Eliezer, first he asks, then he gives it. Again, from the point of view of the Malach, you have all the Ramazim. Beka Mishkol, Asar Azav, Shnei Tzemidim. From the point of Eliezer, he's given her, well, as far as he knows, this is, what brand jewelry? This is, Tiffany jewelry. He doesn't know anything about the weight, the value, the Shnei Tzemidim. Azoy Zok the Shelah Hakadosh.
Rabbi, why is the Ish Mishtah?
Mishtah, he says, means he pauses to get the Hashbam and Hashemayim. That's how.
It's not that he was wavering.
He's not wavering. No. Okay.
Imagine spotlight coming in actively in the middle of the...
Then, right before Rabbi, I'm guessing, it says Vayikoid Ha'ish Vayishtachaver. He bows down.
And he bowed.
Right, excuse me, it's right before Ravi and Chamishim. Vayikoid Ha'ish Vayishtachal Hashem. Why is he bowing down? Because the Ish knows the shidduch is good to go. Mikoyach the Ish, Mikoyach the Malach, it's the Malach that is giving Shevach V'Hida. Okay. Continues the Shelah Hakadosh in Ois Chav Gimel. Rivka knows more than Eliezer. Eliezer's an Urur. There's a Moshel b'chol that answers the split personality. No split personality. Eliezer is Kenan. Biyad Kenan Moiznei Mirma. There's a Kan Beisai Moshe b'chol Shaloi. That's the Eliezer Lamala. That's the Malach hovering above him. But Aratz, he doesn't know what's going on. But Rivka knows what's going on. In the whole Torah, she's referred to as a Nara. Nara spelled without a hey, but Karoi with a hey. Does anybody know what the name of Malach Metatron is? Says the Gemara in Yevamos, who said the following? Nar hayisi gam zakanti. That's Malach Metatron. Malach Metatron is called a Nar. Rivka understands who she's dealing with. She's dealing with Malach Metatron. She's called Nara. She knows who this guy is, even though Eliezer doesn't know himself. But Eliezer calls Rivka an Alma. But even, says the Shelah Hakadosh, even Lavan knew who Eliezer was. Even Lavan, as big of a Rosh was, he was a big Chacham. He knew that he was dealing with the Malach. And Lavan refers to her as Nar, a reference to the fact that she understood she's dealing with Malach Metatron. And Lavan and Besuel understand they're dealing with Malach Metatron.
Why did they try to kill Eliezer if they knew who they were dealing with?
Why they try to kill him? They didn't like the Shidduch. They didn't like
Get
it.
away with it? Were they dealing with an angel?
The angel killed them first. Rabbi say, this angel, how long is he needed? Until Nigmar Ha'inyan. Now, when was the Inyan finished?
The Inyan
is once they send the girl and she follows he's gone. Turn back to number 10. Perek Chav Daled Pasuk Samachal. Vatakam Rivka v'nareiseha v'terkavna ala gemalim v'telachna acharei ha'ish. They followed Metatron. Metatron says, job is done. I'm out of here. What happens? Vayikach ha'eved es Rivka vayelach. Now he's an Eved. Now all we need is Eliezer. Eliezer is good to go. Metatron said, I did my job. You don't need escort now. You're good to go. I took care of the Shidduch. Love and Besuel agreed. Once they followed the Ish is gone. He's not called Ish again in the Torah. Vayikach ha'eved es Rivka.
Was going to be a problem because he was.
Metatron's not worried. He wasn't worried. He wasn't worried. Yitzchak suspected, by the way. Yitzchak suspected of because when she became a mukaseitz, they suspected. That's why in the same pasuk he's called Eved. He's called So I want to answer Reb Chaim Brisker's kasha very pashut. Reb Chaim wants to know, why do Chazal only darshan ulai the second time around, not the first time around? According to the Shelah Hakadosh, it's very pashut. The first time around, it's the point of view of the angel. The angel had no improper motivations, no selfish motivations. This is for the Malach Metatron. It's Eli the first time around. Vayomer Elav Eled. Ulai, that's the first time around. That's from the point of view of the Malach.
What? But it says so Eved.
It says so Eved, but nevertheless, this is pasuk. This is pasuk.
You caught a fish.
Yeah, I hear.
Your Torah is good, but it's backwards.
No, it's not. I hear, but the Shelah says that the first time the story is reported, even though it does say Ha'eved, because he says, look, in pasuk Zayin, Hashem Elokei Hashamayim Asher Lekachani Mibeis Avi Me'eretz Malati, He Hu Yishlach Malach Lefanecha. So there the Shelah says it's going on the point of view of the Malach. It could be the point of view of the Malach begins after that. But the first time around, that's Mitzad Metatron. Mitzad Metatron, it says Ulai with a Vav. With a Vav. Right. Metatron, he is Al-Keretz. It's not relevant to Metatron. It's not relevant to him. But the second time around, what does it say the second time around? There it says Eli without without a vav. I hear? Yeah, good ha'ara. So Rabbi say, all 10 questions are answered. We want to know, number 1, is Eliezer a good guy or not? Is he Zakan Beisai? Is he Moshe B'chal Shalai? Or is he Biyad Kanan Moisnei Mirma? Says the Shelah. In Shamayim, he's Zakan Beisai, he's Moshe B'chal Shalai. Eliezer Ba'aretz, he's Kanan. We wanted to know, is Yibban Shalom Elokei Hashem Hakadosh or just Elokei Hashamayim? Well, it depends who we're dealing with. When we're dealing with Eliezer, he's Elokei Ha'aretz. When we're dealing with Metatron, he's Elokei Hashamayim. We wanted to know what happened to the Malach, the case of the missing Malach. He's not missing. He's all over the place. He's the Yish. We wanted to know why sometimes is he called the Eved, one time is he called the Ish. Well, it depends. It depends who we're dealing with. Mitzad the Eliezer is the Eved. Mitzad the Malach is the Ish. Why in the same pasuk is he first called the Ish and then the Eved? Well, as soon as he finishes the job, the Malach is out of here. We want to know why the first time around are there all the Ramazim, not the second. Well, the first time around, Mitzad Metachon, you have all the Ramazim. Mitzad Eliezer, the Ramazim are. Why the first time around does it say he gave it and then he asked, and vice versa? Say, well, Mitzad the Malach, it's as good as given. We're ready to give. We don't have to ask who she was. It's the second time around. We have to ask who she was. Why are the improper motives only the second time? Well, the second time, it's Mitzad Eliezer. We wanted to know why sometimes Ha'alma and sometimes Nara. So the Shelah says, as far as Eliezer is concerned, she's just any old Alma. But in fact, she wasn't.
What's Alma? What is Alma?
Alma is a girl. Alma is a girl. Nara is a remez to the Malach Metatron, which Rivka was in touch with. So this gives us, you see many nuances of difference between the first time around and the second time around. But in fact, says the Shelah, there is one common reason for all the string of differences. I wish everyone a good Shabbat.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.